Teresa, welcome to my channel today. Thank you for joining me. I have some Arteza products to play with today. Last year I did review a few items from Arteza. Was very impressed with the quality and the price and the performance of their products. So when they got in touch with me again and asked was there something else that I would like to try out and share with you, I did pick a few things, and first up are these real brush pens. Now the Arteza Watercolor Real Brush pens are available in various sets. They come in sets of 12, 24, 48, 96, and you can get individual colours in a set of 4. So you get 4 the same, but you can replace certain colours if you do use those more than others. I will pop links down below, all the prices, both for their UK European store and their US store. For example, though, I decided to try this set of 48, sort of in the middle, size-wise, and they are $39.99 in the UK or $44.99 in the USA. Not only can you buy these pens in different size sets, but they do, on the Arteza website, you will see various bundles available. Sometimes they package them with sketchbooks, with pencils, as a travel set, you know, lots of different ways to buy them, depending on what you're looking for, really, what else you want to purchase with them. There is more information about them on the website. They are water-based, they're highly pigmented ink, and they're ideal for painting, drawing, sketching, and calligraphy. If you add some drops of water to them, you can get some fun watercolor effects, or if you just use them direct as they are to the paper, you get a much brighter and bolder look. For an example, I've swatched out the colours here on some card. This is what they look like direct from the pen. As you can see, a nice colour range. Very bright, very bold. As always, I can always criticise colour ranges. I did with the watercolours, and I think it's just me. I don't think I will ever find the perfect palette of colours direct from the shelf. You know what I mean? It's something that each person has their individual preferences. I would like to see some more greens. Looking at this, we have a lot of blues here. And then we just have this for greens. There's quite a selection of browns, quite a selection of pinks. My preference would be take away a pink, take away a blue, give me 2 more greens. That's just me. I tend to, you know, gravitate towards those colours. If you buy the set of 96, there is obviously way more colours, and there is a lot more in the sort of turquoise and green range. So, you know, swings and roundabouts. It's a nice colour range. For general crafting, I think if you're a stamper, and I'm going to be showing some techniques today using some stamps alongside these pens, really nice with having all the pinks and the oranges, good for florals, you know, it's a nice colour range, and I shouldn't be too critical of the fact that I would like to see a couple more greens in there. The one thing I will say is if you start to add water to them and blend them out, as you can see, you get a more subtle effect, a much more subtle effect here. So we'll cover those differences as we do the examples today. And I'm going to be working in another product that I requested, which is one of these watercolour books. Now these come in a pack of 2, and really nice. They are covered with linen, which makes them look super nice, very pretty. 68 pages, so there's 34 pieces in here, which gives you 68 pages. Cold pressed watercolor paper. It has a slight texture on one side, which I'm not entirely sure whether we'll pick up, probably not, and the other side is smoother. So you've got sort of 2 textures to work with, and the way that it is bound together, if you're working on a double spread, obviously there you've got both pages are smooth, flip it over, both pages are textured, so that's really nice, you know, that you do have the choice. Very similar in there. I've got one of the watercolor pads, the A4 Expert watercolor pad, and that has a slight texture on one side and a smoother finish on the other side. The other thing that's quite nice is there's a little expandable pocket in the back here. So maybe if you're doing a bit of collage, or if you're taking this on holiday and you've got some tickets or a bit of ephemera that you want to pop in, so that you can almost use this as a journal or a scrapbook of your holiday, that's a really nice addition. There is a ribbon marker in here to keep your place, and it has this lovely elastic closure as well, just to close it up. And as I say, they come in a pack of 2. Now this is really good weight paper. £110, 230 GSM, and this is an 8¼ inch or 21 centimetres square. These at the moment are $28.99 for the pack of 2 in the UK, $26.99 in the US. So again, I will pop links down below, and I will also have a discount code down there for you as well if you want to take advantage of that, if there's anything that you want to purchase today. So I'm going to get set up to show you a few techniques that I've been playing with. I've started off by just masking off with some washi tape that I don't really like because I'm going to remove it afterwards. I've just masked off a grid on a double page spread so that I can show various techniques all together for you here. And I'm just going to go and get set up. So when you open up the set of pens, they're arranged on 4 trays. And they do come with a free water brush as well, these do. I've popped some water in that already because I will be using that for 1 or 2 of the techniques that I'm going to share with you today. Just to show you the tips of these brushes, they are really, really nice. They're made up of a nylon filament and they come to a beautiful point. So great for getting into fine detail if you're colouring things in. If you're good at like brush calligraphy, they're perfect for that. It's that's not my thing. I've tried and I struggle with the calligraphy, but really, really nice, flexible tip, just like using a paintbrush really. They've all got a colour dot on the bottom, and at the top where the bristles are, it's got the colour, and they do have the name written on them as well. And this one here is Periwinkle. So the first technique that I'm going to show you today is probably what is going to be the most obvious, which will be just colouring direct onto the paper with the pen, as if it were just a normal marker, just as a standard everyday marker. So I'm going to stamp out some leaves so that I've got something to colour in. With my colouring, I'm going to begin with the darkest tone and then blend with a medium tone and then go to the palest. For the first leaf, I'm going to use Autumn Red, Cadmium Orange and Bumblebee Yellow.
Now that I'm looking back, I can see all the signs I tried to fill in the cracks that were spread in my mind, but I was all out of hope, lost in an endless maze. The emptiness had unfolded just like a void, but you broke the coldness somehow.
And here's the 4 leaves that I've coloured in different colourways. Love the bright tones, love the way that they do blend, very, very nice indeed. And there is some bleed through onto the other side where I've coloured through 2 or 3 layers together. I mean, the only thing that I can suggest there is in a lot of journals, I do stick pages together back to back. So just do watch that if you are blending more than one colour over the top of another, that you may get some bleed through onto the back of the page. But I'm going to move on to my second technique today, where I'm going to be using the ink on a stamp and spritzing with water and actually stamping with it. So perfect for if you've got a silhouette type stamp. This time I'm going to be using Arctic Blue, Wisteria Purple and Bubble Bath Pink. And I've got my stamp here mounted on an acrylic block. As you can see, it creates a solid silhouette. So absolutely perfect for this watercolour technique. I'll just pop this on the lighter background so you can actually see me applying the ink. And I'm just going to take the pen and brush directly onto the stamp. Now this works on the clear stamps, it works on rubber stamps. Just drawing directly on. I'm going to switch to a second colour. Covering the whole stamp. And then my third colour. I'm just going to take a little water in a spray bottle and lightly mist, just a couple of squirts of water there onto the stamp, just to activate that ink. And then I'm going to press down and stamp as I would with a normal ink pad. And there we get a really soft watercolour effect. Very, very nice. If you're card making, you could go in with a fine liner pen and add some detail if you wanted to, but creates a totally different soft effect compared to working direct from a pen. Just clean the stamp off, bit extra water and a paper towel. And that'll just remove any ink that was left on there. For our third technique, I'm going to stamp an image, work directly onto the paper with the pen, but blend it out using the water brush to soften it and fade the colour away. This time I'm going to use light magenta and teal, and I'm going to be using the water brush. And I'm going to apply a little of the colour around the edge of the stamped image and blend it in towards the centre with the water brush. So this is my least successful of these techniques, and it isn't limited to just these pens and this paper. It can be hit and miss. Certain colours blend out better than others. Certain colours work better on different types of watercolour paper than others. But it does, as you can see, take down the vibrancy. It blends. You do get some bleeding out as the paper gets wet, so bear that in mind. But it is definitely, it's a nice technique for softening the colour. I find it a little unpredictable and hard to sort of control, should we say. So the next two techniques are more of a watercolour technique, like this second one that we tried. The first one I'm going to do is going to create a watercolour background, and then we can stamp on top of it. So for this technique, I'm going to be using 6 colours. I'm going to work in 2 groups of 3 just to make it easier. And I've got red, orange and lemon yellow. And then I've got light green, bright blue and eggplant purple. I've also got myself a piece of acetate, just an offcut of acetate. I'm going to be applying the ink directly to the acetate, spritzing with a little bit of water and then pressing it to transfer to create a watercolour abstract background. And that's just created a nice sort of rainbow effect for us. Just soak up that little bit of excess water at the bottom. I'm going to leave that to dry before I stamp over the top of it. I want that to be completely dry. So I'm going to move on to our next technique, which will be our final technique, where I'm going to be colouring leaves again. But instead of using the pen direct to the paper, I'm going to put my pen on the acetate and use the water brush to pick the colour up to watercolour. So I'm going to begin by stamping a couple of leaves. And I'm going to colour the leaves in 2 different colourways. I'm going to repeat the colours that I've used over here just so we can see the difference in the techniques. So we've got Bumblebee Yellow, Cadmium Orange and Autumn Red, and Light Green, Teal and Turtle Green. And I'm going to be applying the ink to my scrap of acetate that I've got here and using the watercolour brush to pick it up and then paint with it. So really just sort of creating a palette. Hard to see actually on my dark desk. But I'm going to pop the 3 colours on my piece of acetate. I think if I just create a lighter background there, we can see what we're doing a little bit better, I think. And I'm going to take the water brush and watercolour with those 3 colours onto this leaf. There, and I hope you can see the difference that you get with the watercolour effect compared with the direct from the marker to the paper effect there, which is much more bright and vibrant. So my background over here is dry. I can stamp something onto that just to finish that panel off. So I'm going to remove this tape that was just masking off my areas. I'm just going to take a fine liner pen just to frame. I've got a little pencil reference, so I'm just going to frame off these areas and I can erase any pencil lines that were left. And here's my finished spread of techniques using these Arteza watercolour real brush pens and this lovely art watercolour book. Really, really love the versatility of these. I love the colours and the different effects that you can get with them. And I think they're perfect for card makers and art journalists, mixed media artists. If you want to just take a few pens and a water brush and your sketchbook on holiday, you know, perfect for a little travel journal kit. Really, really enjoyed working with these. So many thanks to Arteza for allowing me to try these products out. I didn't have to pay for the products. They sent them to me free of charge. But I'm not being sponsored. I'm not being paid for this review. The opinions, you know, this is all my own opinion here. I'm not being paid to promote the product for anything other than what it is. And I'm really, really impressed. Definitely do check out the links below to the stores. The links are affiliate links and I may earn a small commission from any purchases that you make by visiting the store through those links. And do check out the discount code as well below if you want to make some extra savings. But as always, if you enjoyed this video, please leave me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And I shall be back again soon. Bye. I heal from your passion, my doubts are gone.